for some people, your prime years they're taken away because nothing is open and you can't go out, and so it's been tough. But for me, yeah, we used to party hard in our day, and we still do whenever we can, right?
What's your favorite city to party in Canada?
In Canada, I mean, Toronto's okay, but it's different when you're at home, right? I got to go home, and I mean, Montreal is great, Niagara Falls is great, but nothing beats Vegas. I mean, that's my favorite city in the whole world. So,
here's a question for you: how y'all were on lockdown for a little longer than the States? I understand. Obviously, the Blue Jays didn't even play in Toronto last year.
They were 600 something days. We actually went to the home opener. I guess August something when they were finally came back. Crazy.
How was it? What did you do for 2 years with nothing open?
It was tough. There wasn't much to do. You'd kind of hang out and
walk around the park.
Walk around the park. You take the kids for a walk, and you go to the mall parking lot, and everywhere is closed. You're scared to go to the grocery store. I think, but it's good to see things are open now, right? And even running a business, like you're open, you're closed, you're a restaurant, you're open, you're closed. So, knock on wood, we've seen the end of it, and we can, have some normalcy again, because it's been tough, tough couple of years.
Down here in the States, cannabis was considered an essential item because it is technically medicine. Technically being, I mean, I use it for medicine as well. I guess, were y'all deemed essential? Was business hindered in the cannabis scene up there, or did y'all see an uptick because not as many people were leaning on the alcohol, or what was the vibe like?
Generally speaking, yes, it was deemed essential. There was some, fits and starts where initially in Ontario, they closed all the stores for about 5 days, and they realized that wasn't going to work. So they reopened them. They allowed us to do delivery in Ontario, which again was a first because we didn't have that, right? So that was one of the benefits that actually came out of the lockdown, was the government acknowledged they couldn't do all the delivery themselves, and so we ended up as private companies being able to offer delivery, right? And then once they tried to take it back, and then once the third lockdown, I believe it was, came back, they said, okay, now it's going to be permanent. We can actually deliver, right? But it's so difficult to run a business where you don't know what's going to happen next week in terms of, are you open? Is it click and collect only? And even with the staff, right? Where one person says, I have a headache. Okay, stay home for 5 days, right? And in some cases, everybody they have been on a shift with has to self-isolate. Well, where are we going to get people from, right? So we're definitely not running at full speed ahead because of these issues, right? A lot of our stores are, you're in a mall where it's reduced hours or it's reduced capacity. Employees are sick and there isn't a store close by to send staff over from other areas. It's very, very difficult to run a business, and yet we're still doing very well.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear. Back to your personal style. Tell us the first time about you getting high. When was your first time getting high?
Oh, this would have been not that long ago, actually. I was always an alcohol guy growing up, right? And
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
And it wasn't really until I started covering the stocks where it was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to try cannabis to still to gain respectability, right? In terms of the companies that I'm covering. So it was went to them buddies, and he kind of gave me the tutorial as to how it actually works, whereas the numbers guy has his own way of looking at things. So it's weird to say, I had to try these drugs for work.
Yeah, crush a couple of Labatt Blues and off you go.
Yeah, I love it. I'm to be fact, Chris, great drop on the Labatt Blue. I almost wanted to say like a fuck, marry, kill with like Crown Royal, like Canadian whiskey, poutine, and maple syrup, and see where those three lie on your power rankings. And after that,
probably Crown Royal #1, just because it's booze. And then I guess poutine, because it's more filling, and then maple syrup. It's great on waffles and pancakes. Those are the essential Canadian things that, of course, I have in my house and in my kitchen, just like everybody should.
Hey, I mean, we have Budweiser, maybe a whiskey, and some shotgun shells here, so I understand completely. I appreciate you joining us, letting us get to know you a little bit, as well as get to know your company and how you kind of got to where you are with High Tide. Before we go, I wanted to ask you just some quick questions questions that we ask all of our guests. This one is kind of fun, and it kind of plays off of everything else that we do in life with food and cannabis. But Chris, I'll let you do the honors. This week's Stoned Appetit question of the week is brought to you by the Seed & Smith Dart Pen, our favorite cartridge out there. Love puff and tough on that puppy. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, Vaughn. So when you first started smoking weed, let's say you had a big numbers day, you were stressed out, you finish your night with a little joint, bowl, whatever it is. What's that go-to late night snack that you have in the pantry, the freezer, wherever? But what's that go-to late night snack?
Probably ice cream.
Ice cream? What flavor are we working with?
Well, I mean, the right flavor is whatever is in stock, right? But I do love the Oreo cookies and cream. Baskin Robbins cake is probably the best food on the planet. It's my favorite food for sure.
Ice cream cake, love that.
Dude,
love
the
that.
icing when it's frozen is so much better than the cake itself. Like you could just pick it off and eat it. It's a delicacy.
It's the same ice cream they sell in the store, but it's so much better in cake form. I can't explain it, but it's true.
I get it. And I used to get it at the roller rink for birthday parties. Gosh, that hits so hard. I love that. And the thought that he just has this big ass cake in his freezer with one of those really loud, crunchy tops on it, the plastic ones.
Yeah. Waking up everybody.
Uh-huh. Well, Vahan, we really do appreciate you joining us on the podcast today. Before we go, would you mind telling folks if they wanted to learn more about maybe your company and your brands, how we can find websites, social media, if people want to follow you or reach out to you?
Website is hightideinc.com. That's the holding company. That's the stock that trades on the NASDAQ and the Toronto Venture Exchange. So hightideinc.com. We have a Twitter handle, hightideinc. And the actual THC stores are called Canna Cabana, so cannacabana.com. And for the accessories, as I mentioned, it's Smoke Cartel, Grass City, Daily High Club, Dankstop.com. And on the CBD side, it's Fab CBD and New Leaf Naturals in the US and Blessed CBD in the UK.
Man, I appreciate it. And for our listeners at home, y'all know that we like to give one trivia question every week. So the first person to comment on our Instagram post talking about this episode, the question of the week is, what was the first dispensary opened in Canada? The first person to tag that spot in our comment section will win. I'll give you a gift card to Vahan's company so you can go buy yourself a pipe or a bong. I'll Venmo you. We'll buy you a gift card. We'll find a way to do it. But the first person to do that wins the Stoned Appetit question of the week, is quiz of the week. So, Vahan, thank you again for joining us. Chris, do you have any last comments or questions?
No, I mean, I learned a tremendous amount that I never knew before.
I know, right? I learned a lot as well. So we're going to have to pick his brain more often. We're going to have him on the podcast regularly to learn about how the market is shifting. But until next week, we want to say, stay hungry, stay high.
Invest in cannabis.
Invest in cannabis. I like it, Chris. All right. Thanks, y'all. Cheers.
Thanks so much, guys.
Awesome.
Have a great one, Vahan.